Unscripted.
Unshackled.
Uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for mature audiences only.
It's Miguel Fuller.
Holly O'Connor.
And Scotty the Body.
It's the Miguel and Holly Uncensored podcast.
Only on Hot 101.5.
Hey, Platypus Posse.
Hey.
How y'all doing up in this pace, honey?
We good.
We are live on the Miguel and Holly YouTube page.
Yes.
Do not follow the Miguel and Holly Instagram page right now.
It is still hacked, and I had somebody in my Instagram that took a screenshot of the absolute nonsense, scam bullshit. Sorry, that is on the Miguel and Holly Insta story currently, and she was like, "Y'all get hacked." And which we've heard this a lot.
Yeah.
We've spoken about it a lot because it's been over a week now. And I go, yes, it's been a week now. And she's like, oh, I heard y'all talk about it. I didn't think it was still happening.
Yeah.
Why would you not think it's still happening if it's still happening and you just sent me a photo? But I guess it's just, I know you want to help. And I appreciate the people that are like, did you know that you were hacked? And I appreciate them because they're trying to help. But since we've been dealing with it on the back end for this entire time, and there's almost nothing we can do.
No.
It's incredibly frustrating because this is an application that we used to use multiple times a day, every single day of every single week. So yes, we do know. And I just, it's a tough place.
It's so funny because I don't get as turned up about it as you do.
I don't know why it turns me up so
Holly's
bad.
like, I don't understand. And I'm like, girl, they're just trying to be helpful.
I know.
don't care.
I know.
I would rather receive that type of message other than just some of the other, on the post about the live show, some random Instagram account that has no post. They were like, y'all still stupid.
No, they said y'all still suck.
Oh, y'all still suck.
I know, but see, I got that too.
And I was like, okay.
I just commented LOL. Because it was an Instagram account that was created solely to tell us y'all still suck.
Right.
That's
I'm
okay.
like, who
we
did
all know how them
hurt you?
people. Yes.
Somewhere
It makes me laugh when people do stuff like that because
People
I'm
are
like,
hurting.
it takes a lot
It does.
to create an Instagram,
Yeah.
find
go
a
out of your way.
picture. You got to find a new email
You gotta
address
use
to
a
sign
new
up
email
with.
address. So now it's going to be on your file forever. You had to go through all that to tell us we sucked anonymously.
Right.
I'm like, if you're going to say that we suck, at least use your real.
Say it with your chest.
Don't use your Finsta. But I don't, unless it's someone who knows us that they didn't, I don't know. I don't know why people are motivated to do the things that they do.
Right.
I'm just going to pile this in here because I haven't had a chance to talk about it, but it really, it made me feel some type of way. There was an incident years ago at my kid's school with a fundraiser, and it was an evening, and it could not have gone worse. I was supposed to be hosting something, and I don't even want to get into the details, but it was an absolute shit show, and it was bad. I'm not even sure. There was a mistake, I guess I made, and in that it was shushing someone. That's what started the whole thing, is that I shushed someone because I was the one with the microphone, and it was everybody was talking and I couldn't hear, and there was somebody else trying to speak, and I'm like, that is disrespectful. So I did it in a calling out type of funny way, and I shushed a person.
Oh.
This unleashed a level of hell that has not since been seen. And this was legitimately 3 full years ago. So I have forgotten about it.
Right.
I got an email about it recently from someone that I do not know. It must have been the person I shushed's wife.
Oh.
She blasted me, and you could tell that she was drunk when she did it because it was sent at 11:55 p.m. on a Friday night.
Oh, yeah. That's
Things
a couple in.
Were misspelled. None of it really made a lot of sense, but it was. I took it a little slightly threatening because it was I hope your daughter never has to deal with this. What goes around comes around. And I was like, so I emailed it to the people at the school, and I was like, I take this as a threat. And then I had to figure out who this woman was, found her on Facebook. I was like,
oh, you found her.
I was like, how embarrassing. So I blocked her on Facebook, blocked her on Instagram just to make sure that there's a barrier there.
Right.
But like, I'm always at what, like, at some point, you become an adult
And
and you
goal.
speak to other adults. And clearly not very many people do. Like the person with the Instagram, the people that hacked our account that are out for money, this woman who is very clearly still seething pissed at me. Like, man, we are really living in our last days. People are so angry.
And that's what I just can't wrap my brain around. And yesterday I was having a conversation with my fiance because I was listening to a political podcast, not a political podcast. It was just like a general news. And they were talking about how right now school boards around the country have become this battleground for conservative, not like normal everyday, like I'm a conservative, but like the loud
zealots, if you will.
Yes, the people that are like, you're trying to indoctrinate my kids by having them wear masks and by having, or not vaccinations yet, but critical race theory, not even understanding what that means. And like they're threatening school board members.
Yeah.
And I was listening to this news report where there was this lady who has like 2 kids and she works a full-time career, and she was really involved in like PTAs in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. And everyone at the school was like, you should really run for school board because like she's of mixed race. And they're like, we need a little diversity, you know, not even knowing her politics, just saying that like you're a good human who cares about the kids. So you should run for school board because you care.
Mm-hmm.
And she ran and she won, and she literally did it because like people encourage her, no agenda. She just wants to make sure that her school system for her kids are great.
Mm-hmm.
And now that was like right before the pandemic happened. And ever since then, because of like mask mandate and then this whole critical race thing, like she's getting threatened. Like they literally had to, in the school board where they have the meetings, find a safe room for the school board in case something happened. They've had people like have followed her to her car after school board meetings, have driven past her house. And I'm like, this is what I don't understand as a human being.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think like, what has made me so upset that I felt like I could get that close? Probably the whole abortion thing in Texas. I know we're getting kind of political. But the whole abortion thing in Texas, where I think if it's like after 6 weeks, then it's illegal.
Yeah.
And like most women don't even know that they're pregnant by then. And I was listening and I was like, wow, that's really sad. I don't know any of the facts, you know? So I was listening to a news report about it. And there was a woman who like literally was like, her and her boyfriend have 1 kid. They had been living with friends and family. They finally got enough money to like get their own apartment, to get a car that they share. And they're like, we can breathe. We're in our own space. Our kid has a room. We've made it. We're good. And then she found out that she was pregnant. And after lots of thought, they were like, we just can't afford it. That's going to like we can barely afford what we have now.
Yeah.
So they just made that awful decision. They had to get an abortion. It was like the day that the law went into effect. And so she was like in tears where she had to drive 2 states over. She wanted her husband to go with her. He ended up losing his job because they wouldn't give him the time off, but he didn't want her to go alone.
Oof.
And so he lost his job. And so now they're like, not only am I dealing with an abortion, now my husband is losing his job. And like, I listened to that and I got so fucking angry. And I'm like, these fucking lawmakers in Texas have no clue the damage that they're doing to these people that are already on the poverty line. That would make me drive to someone's house and like picket and protest. But all the other stuff, like what you dealt with, Holly, and just like the person that commented on our Instagram that took the time to do that, I just like, there's nothing outside of that makes me that angry that I would be like, girl, I'm about to spend an hour or 30 minutes or even 10 minutes out of my day to write, to drive, or to threaten. I just don't understand. Are people that bored?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about.
it's
So are
bored.
we like a lot of the stuff like what you're talking about with the abortion thing? I think that the people who are going to like the school board meetings, they must feel that level of whatever it is. So that, but like that's two different levels of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Then the stuff with the email, which I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
Right.
Which that's scary for me because I'm like, I didn't know who this woman was. She
Right.
could come up and hit me with a fucking bat.
Right.
She like kidnapped my child. I don't know. I don't know who she is. So that's why I was glad to like finally see who it was and be
Yeah.
like, well, at least I can like burn her. Like now I have to think about that because she forced me to think about it because now she sent this email that I'm like, she's a little unhinged. Let me just make sure I know.
that's the big-
Mhm.
yeah.
Like, for why?
Right.
And I'm trying to think. I was like, I felt like part of me wanted to reply with like an apology to be because she's like, and you never apologize. And I'm like, okay, I wanted to sort of explain like what my perspective was and apologize for maybe causing her public embarrassment by shushing her. I would say, I'm sorry about that. Part of me wanted to be like, how embarrassing for you.
Mm.
Another part of me wanted to be like, don't ever come at me again and keep like my kid's name out your mouth.
Right.
So there's like a lot of ways that I wanted to react, but ultimately I did nothing because I'm like,
I'll
it's
give her
not
the
worth
time
it.
of day.
It's
Not.
absolutely not even worth it. But then it's like it's the people like that are so angry about stupid little bullshit. Like the person that made an Instagram account to say we suck. Like you did that on purpose to make someone else feel bad.
Right.
So then I have to think about myself and be like, we must have inadvertently, because I can't really picture any of us purposely being mean to someone, inadvertently hit a nerve with that person where they're very angry at us. And we've seen this happen before. Miguel, that person that that actually emailed our boss instead of talking to you.
Right.
Like people get really mad about different things. But what I think the problem with humanity is right now is that you get triggered and it's almost impossible not to because we are just deluged with information. And for some reason, we think we all have to have an opinion on everything.
Right.
We've been like forced to think that our opinion, every single billion persons on this, like 7 billion people on this planet, your opinion is needed on every single thing. Hint, it's not. But like we've been trained, I guess, through social media to think it is. And you get triggered and then you're ready to fight. And instead of that, what I think would be better is to take a breath, take a beat, and say, why is this triggering me so much?
Mm.
Why is this person, this action, this movement, whatever it is, why do I feel so strongly about it? And like sort of dig down because maybe it's very immediately clear. Like Miguel, like I think yours is pretty clear on your story with the abortion law in Texas. But like deeper, especially when it's like a person that you want to like anonymously really hate on. I had a pretty rude comment on Facebook this week about my person, like just like using awful language to try to like just drive the stake in to make sure that I'm hurt, like before you comment something like that, or before you speak to someone in that tone or email or whatever it is, you take 2 seconds to be like, what about this makes me personally so angry?
Mm.
And do I really need to direct that anger at this person? Or do I need to do a little work and figure out what it is in my life that actually is the problem and help it so that I'm not just blindly reacting angry all the time?
Right.
And I mean, I don't mean to sound patronizing. I
But
really
it's not,
don't.
because I mean, listen, you're not supposed to live life that angry.
No.
No.
And that's why I just wish that there was like with these school board meetings when parents are just going in, and I understand it's your kid.
Yeah.
And if you've been listening to people tell you that critical race theory or masking or whatever is bad, and you're like, you're trying to take away my kid's rights. You're trying to, and I'd be like, all right, if you truly and honestly believe that, why don't you go in, calmly state what you believe and then have a discussion.
That's
Right.
hard.
Because nothing is ever going to get done
with threats.
right. I mean, that's like, I mean, this isn't on par with any of this, but it's like where I was like mad and I just wanted to like spout off is like when we were going to Atlanta a few weeks ago and we were delayed by 7 hours. And granted, it was like literally nobody's fault. Like there was one part of it that a little foresight, but then I also, as a human being, go, well, I don't know how decisions are made because we were on the tarmac for 3 hours.
But anytime like that, you're gonna get angry.
Right. And then like all of a sudden, as we were about to like take off, the pilots were like, well, we can't legally fly anymore. So we got to go back to
Anybody
the airport.
would be feeling that anger right
But
then.
in that moment, while everyone on the plane was like, oh, fuck you. Ah! And the poor flight attendants were like, literally, we're here too, just like you.
Yeah, can't do anything about it.
And as I thought to myself, I said, okay, I'm really, really angry right now, but I have no clue how those decisions are made. I don't know if it's possible for them an hour ago to have called back to whoever to say, hey, we're getting real close to reaching our legal hours of flying. Maybe y'all should go ahead and start the process of flying. I don't know. It's not, so I can't get mad at them. Who can I get mad at? And so I just sent a tweet that was just like, hey, I'm disappointed that to me, it feels like things could have worked out differently if decisions were made. I don't understand, but I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And that's it. I didn't have to yell at the flight attendants. I didn't have to yell at the pilots. I didn't have to go blaze the glory to the poor ticket agent who didn't know that we were coming back. And
Yeah.
she literally was like,
Oh, dear.
I don't know. Like, I was supposed to go home.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just wish that we all in our society would just like take a second to sort of put ourselves in the other shoes of people. And like, yes, you are completely in your right to feel angry. Like that woman with you, Holly, maybe she did feel embarrassed. Maybe that's one of her triggers. Maybe something happened when she was younger where her parents would shush her and it would trigger something in her and she feels embarrassed. And so it just sent these emotions off. But like after the fact, wouldn't you just take a beat to go, that's about me?
Yeah.
That's totally about me. Like, I'll let her know that, hey, I really wish you wouldn't have done that. Maybe there was another way for you to shush people.
Sure.
But like, all right, I'll move on with my day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And maybe I feel like I'm a pushover. Like maybe I'm just like,
No, that's like
I'm
that's called
too-
nonviolent communication.
well, there you go.
And it's hard. And like I get it. And I'm not saying that I'm over here like, you know, the Dalai Lama in my peaceful like temple. I had an issue yesterday where, you know, I was having a text conversation with someone. And this is what I hate about text conversations with this particular person is I'll text something benign, like a piece of information, and then this person will catch me off guard with like a very aggressive barb throwing, like totally different direction text.
Oh.
And so it hits you real quick and you're not expecting it.
Right.
So then it starts like in, I want to see where I feel it. Like it starts in the pit of my stomach and then I can feel like it's fear really is what I feel. It's fear mixed with anger and it's hot and it comes up through my chest and then my face gets hot and my breathing gets quicker and I'm having this physical reaction. And when you're having that physical reaction, I know damn well that my brain doesn't work as well. So, because the first thing you want to do is just fire back immediately because I've been baited and like there's not that many people in the world that can do it, but I've been baited and I immediately want to be like, but I was like, hold on. What is the root of this? And like what's crazy is that I can understand actually where this person is coming from and where that level of aggression and anger is coming from. I understand the whole thing. And it's not even what this person thinks it is. There's other layers that I can see that they can't even see. And so I'm like, okay, we are going to react calmly. Because in the past, when I have fought aggression back with aggression, it doesn't end well for me.
Right.
This person will just shut down and leave. And then I feel like I couldn't get another word in. Or I'm not good at fighting. I'm not good at coming up with like ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. I got like one good ba-bam in me, and then I'm just like, all right.
Right.
You got one bullet.
So my better way to handle it is with calmness, even though I don't feel calm, and thinking, just wait. Just wait. We're going to wait this one out. I'm going to sit. Oh, and this was so hard yesterday for me. As I was feeling like the waves of that hot fear and anger rolling in me, it was so uncomfortable, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It was so uncomfortable, and I wanted to do a couple things at once. Like I wanted to fire back. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. Like I didn't feel like crying, but I could tell that was in there somewhere. I wanted to reach out to a friend, like one of you, or like my friend Erin. Like I wanted to reach out and be like, do you believe this? But then I was like, all of that is only going to make it worse because I'm going to have to rehash it. And then I'm going to have to set the story up and explain it. And then it's just going to drag on. So you know what I ended up doing? I did end up talking to my person about it about an hour later when he got home. But in that moment, I had nothing that I could do. I'm like, can I text my therapist? Like, is that appropriate? The only thing I could do was sit with it. And let me tell you how absolutely uncomfortable it was. Next time you're angry, try to sit with it. Try to sit with any negative emotion like that. It's almost impossible. But based on my own experience yesterday, it felt to me like that was the right thing to do. Because nothing lasts forever. You can't stay at that level of anger forever. You can't even stay at that level of anger for like a full day. Like your body won't allow it.
No.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit with this and feel it. And I tell you what, it sucked. It sucked the whole time. I felt awful. I was like, what can I do? I was like, can I have a drink right now? No, I'm going to go get my kid in like an hour. So that's out.
Oh, geez.
I sat with it and I thought about it and I talked out loud to myself a little bit. And I went through again why I know that the angry text came in. I went through it in my mind. I went through some of my bullet points in my mind that I didn't share with this person because it's not going to do any good. And eventually, and then my person came home and talked with him about it a little bit. And, you know, we talked with each other. We were like, both like, this is so frustrating. In like, not a funny tone. But by the end of it, I was okay. And I ended the day fine. Like, I actually ended the night last night, and there was other shit that happened yesterday too that there's a lot going on in my fucking life. There's always a lot, but this particular week there's an extra lot. And I'm like, I'm just doing it. I'm walking through this. I was able to sit with that emotion and let it wash over me and feel it, by the way. Not ignore it. I did not have a drink to try to numb it. No. I did not have a substance. I did not screenshot and send it to a friend. I did not do any of that stuff. I sat there and I fucking felt every bit of it. And it left. Like, am I still irritated? Yeah, but I don't have that seething white hot anger that I did yesterday. You have to feel those negative, horrible, raw emotions without damaging someone else with them. That's our responsibility. So I just had that small epiphany, and it seemed like it fit the direction of this conversation. But it's so hard. But for me, anyway, I think sitting with it, feeling it, allowing space for it to breathe, it was able to like come out and just dissipate a little bit. Doesn't mean I forgive necessarily or have forgotten or whatever. But there it is.
Scott, how do you deal with those sort of situations?
Well, I mean, a lot of the time I do the same thing where it's like, if I get all heated up, I try to now I'm better at just sitting in the moment and allowing myself to slowly get through it. But I'm a hothead, man. If I get too fired up, I'll fucking fire back, and I hate it. And that's why a lot of the times, like, and I know this about myself. Like, if I have a couple drinks in me, like I'm a dick. Like I can come to grips with it. Like I'm just, and so I don't like to get myself to that point, because if I do, that's like when the gates open. That's kind of how I picture them. Like all these emotions are like controlled, and I could really navigate where I want to go. As soon as I let's just say get drunk, like if one thing gets me pissed, it's very hard for me to be like, Scott, nope, you're overthinking it. You're going too far. and it'll blow up. And it's happened in my relationship now like a couple times. And I'm like, the day after, I'm like, fuck, you're an idiot. You're so stupid for letting yourself like just get to that point when you know. And now I do know, where I'm like, okay. But then there's other instances like, okay, and let's say prime example is in the relationship after we're discussing it. And there's moments where like we're discussing back and forth and I start to get a little heated up. I could sit in the moment. And I know eventually it's like what Holly said, like it will wash over and I will want to talk to her more. But I am a runner and I'm a hothead because as soon as like I start getting a little pissed, I just want to be like, just let me have a fucking second and leave. Like that's my internal reaction. But now I've gotten better at like, okay, I'm going to sit. We're going to talk. Might be silent for a little bit.
And that's
eventually
okay.
I'm going to want to talk to you.
You know, by the way, like if you do need to step away for a little bit to collect your thoughts or like calm yourself down a little bit, I think that's advised.
Oh yeah. That again, but like past me would just get up and leave or tell the other person to leave. Like I'm done with this situation. I'm done talking. And
I have a really hard time with that.
Yeah, it's hard. And I know that's not the way to handle it. I know nothing good comes from it. And so now I'm just like, okay, you're going to sit here. Eventually it's going to be okay. You guys are going to want to make up. It's going to be fine. But it's also, it's exactly why people create other accounts to spread hate. It's exactly why people send emails to spread hate because they want to bring you to their level now. And it's so hard to sit with your emotion and just try to be like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal because your easier reaction is to be like, I'm going to blow up because I'm hot and I want to be angry. I want to just feed in that anger.
I want someone else to like, I want the person who hurt me
to feel hurt
as badly as I do.
Like, I'll never forget what, like you said
that
a while ago, Holly, is like hurt people. Like, that's it. Like that, it comes down to like, now when people like try to spread hate or try to like bring me down, I'm like, gosh, literally at this point, I kind of just feel bad. I'm like, I really hope whatever you're going through, like eventually it solves and you're okay. Because obviously you are hurting so bad that you have to reach out and try to bring someone down to your level. Because it's like the other meme or quote you always see. It's like somebody above you is never going to go down to you to hate on you more. Like, they're not worried about you. They're worried about their own shit. That's why they're above. And so it's only the people that are, I guess on this level, like lower than you that are just trying to bring you down to their level. And so that's why it's like, that kind of stuff does not get to me. It's like anger and stuff. I know now where I stand. I know like I am naturally a very aggressive and hothead if I need to be. I don't like that side, but now I put things in place where I'm like, I'm not even going to put myself in that situation. I'm not going to interact. Like it's say if I get hate comments or like weird comments, I'm like, I'm not going to comment back because like, again, what's it going to do?
What's it going to do?
That's what I have to have that conversation all the time with myself and like literally friends and family. Because my dad's a hothead too. And he goes back and forth and he'll tell me about it. I'm like, Dad, like, why did you comment back? He's like, I just needed to. I'm like, no, you didn't. Because nothing came from it, did it? And he's like, no. I'm like, exactly.
What I saw.
Like, all they did is they wanted to bring you to their energy. They wanted to bring you in that energy sphere of just, bleh. You don't need that. You don't deserve that. You don't have time for that. My life is too good to be letting your nasty energy rub off on mine. I got a short amount of time on this earth. I'm not going to let your shitty energy get in my energy. Yeah. Bye.
I do feel bad a lot of times for these people. And I did feel this with the email with the lady. I felt this mix of like shock because I'm like blown away that she even did this. And also I felt bad because I'm like, clearly like this woman hates me with a vengeance.
Yes.
It's been 3 years. And when I tell you this email was like, just like venomous, I'm like, damn, I pissed this woman off. I don't even know who she was. I don't. And I feel bad that this woman hates the version of me that she's created in her mind where I am like
it's the
Satan.
Most horrible person.
Oh, Holly thinks she's too good
because
really, she's on the radio.
I possibly, that's very possibly part of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
not your problem.
She's concocted in her head. Like she obviously does not know who I really am, but whatever version of me that lives in her head rent free, I might add, I am like her nemesis.
Yeah.
And like to be confronted with that from someone that you literally have never heard of, don't know, couldn't pick out of a lineup. It's a surreal experience. And I did feel bad. I'm like, wow, she's so angry. And then part of me just wanted to apologize and be like, I'm so sorry that you have been carrying this burden for 3 years.
Like 1,000 days.
Yes. Wow.
No.
Like, I feel like
but it's not your fault.
But that's like that codependency where it's like,
No.
This is on you
No.
now.
Yeah,
It
I mean, that's
is.
you to carry
You
that.
are carrying that. Now.
Seriously,
You're
like-
making the choice to
Yes.
sit and hate and sit
every
in anger.
day. Every day you make a choice. Like, especially like when you first get angry, you can't help that flash pan of hot
That's a
heat
reaction.
that you feel. Exactly. But then you actively make decisions in your life to continue to be
and how you
angry.
respond.
Right.
And that's why I just don't understand people for all of these situations we've talked about, because it's just, to me, the emotion of anger is tiring.
It's so exhausting and it's so bad for your soul.
Yes, and I never feel good if I'm just gonna sit in anger and heat.
I can't think of a single person that I've ever been mad at for 3 years.
I mean, I've had some pretty vile things happen to me, and I still to this day would be like, "Sup?"
Yeah, but your
Like,
soul
I'm not
feels
gonna
better when you
be-
clear it. You're like,
Yes.
you know what? I'm not gonna let that sit on my
Right.
Right, because
it
it's good
drains
for me.
you.
You do forgiveness, not even for the person necessarily,
for
but for
yourself.
yourself.
Absolutely,
That's weight on your back you're getting off.
Yes, I don't
Goodbye.
want to sit on that. I
Yeah.
don't want that on my chest.
I don't even know if I were to apologize to this woman, if it would do anything.
It
no,
wouldn't.
no.
She wants
she's-
you to get in that world now. She
She-
wants you to
well, she
respond.
She
So
wants
you're now part of the angry crew.
She
me
wants-
to just feel terrible.
Yes.
She wants you to react with anger,
So
so
she's
then she can
validated.
be angry. Exactly. So then you can just go
Validated.
back and forth. She can be like, "Yeah, see, I knew she was a bitch.
Mhm, you see
I
what she
knew
said
it.
to me?
See? Look, she didn't even apologize.
And now she
just
can
came at
live
me."
more in that anger. It's a shitty cycle, and a lot of people do live in that, especially now. And that's why it's like people literally have to pull themselves out of the TV screen, out of their evil Facebook post, because it's like, again, once you see one anger post, you're fired up. I want to see another that validates
Yeah.
exactly what I'm feeling.
Maybe
Mhm.
I think it is. I think because that angry feeling is what is the word I'm looking for? Addictive.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. I
It's
mean, that's why
addictive.
that's what they're going through with Facebook and Instagram right now,
True.
because
True.
that's exactly what they figured is that, or how they changed the algorithms to show you
more
things that make you
inflammatory.
They're gonna stay
angry
longer because it's
be-
just feeding.
right,
it.
because you're in the comment section, but that's why I've recently made a conscious decision that it's like, all right, if I look like we talked about this, the podcast I listen to, when I get in my car before I start up and I look at the podcast and I see that it's like conservative, the anger, abortion, I'm like, I'm gonna listen to this like fun like story about Paris Hilton. Let's go. That's fun and lighthearted. I don't
She getting married. Good for
Right.
Paris.
I don't feel
Oh,
like
wow,
going down that.
wow.
Like, so I literally now like look at it first to just make a decision if I want to go down that rabbit hole. Some days I'm like, I'm in. I mean, who can I donate to? What can I do? Who can I call? Let me help. But then some days I'm like, nope, don't want to go there.
Yeah, control what you're putting into your own life. Like
Right.
that's it. Like every now and then, yeah, you got to know what's happening.
Right.
But also, if you catch yourself an hour later scrolling on Facebook and you just find yourself
Mm.
pissed, log out.
Yeah.
Get out, because you're not doing anything. You're not helping yourself. All you're doing is just going down your spiral, and it keeps going, vroom, vroom, vroom,
Oof.
until
All
you're
right.
just again shooting out messages to somebody
Yeah.
else.
Remove yourself from that negative, toxic place.
We've got to go.
Oh yeah, we do.
Scott, what's your social media?
At Scott Tavlin, SCOTTTAVLIN, all positive posts.
Holly.
Radio Holly. You want to send me something negative? You can.
No,
No, please don't. Radio Holly on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
If you want to send me some negative posts at
No!
Miguel Fuller, no, I'm gonna say I probably won't see it. So I don't check my messages that often. Sorry. So you can go ahead and send them. You can get some
Send
anger.
them.
If you want to
Think
send
about it
something
before you
angry to
send 'em.
Miguel, send it to me, and then I won't pass it to him.
I'll just respond with an Oprah gift. Thank you so much for listening. Please give us a 5-star review and a rating. Thank you so much. So I've probably got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 15 Miguel and Holly special edition Halloween stickers. If you would like one, shoot me an email with your name and address, and when they're gone, they're gone. Miguel at hot1015tampabay.com. We will see you Friday.